Today in this video, we're gonna be talking about the 3 most important things you need to know before you buy your next Puffy jacket. There's a lot of different jackets out there. There's different use cases for you individually, but really there's also just good jackets and bad jackets. And today, we're gonna spend time talking about the 3 most important things so that we can clear all of that up for you. So let's dive right in. All right, so the first tip that I want you to look at when you're looking for your next Puffy is the insulation itself. Now there's different types of insulations and then there's different variables within that, but at the core basis, the 2 types are going to be down and synthetic. Now, synthetic is going to work when it's wet. It's not going to fail, such as our Loft Tech jacket, right? You can soak it out and it's still gonna stay lofted. However, with down, sometimes they can fail and the treatments can vary. So this is actually the very first down jacket I ever had. For those of you maybe have heard the story where I took this to Colorado and I never wore it because I was either sweating from hiking or I was freezing my butt off but in a blizzard and didn't want it to get wet from the outside. And that was actually good because when I went home and tested this piece, it did not have very good resistance to water. Now other downs have high resistance to water, but that's just some of the main differences. You're never gonna get as much loft or warmth per weight out of a 100% synthetic. You are gonna have higher weight per warmth with a down, especially the higher fill power downs, such as an 800 or above. However, you do need to be very conscious about moisture or just how that all works. Now, is that every option out there? Not quite, and we're actually gonna talk about that. So you're gonna wanna stay tuned for maybe something that's gonna line up right in the middle. All right, so my second tip is all about durability, which more or less typically equates to the fabrics. Knowing what fabric you're choosing. I have seen a polarizing amount of different fabrics being launched. You can get really heavy fabrics, and there's some pros and cons to that. You can get really, really light fabrics, and there's definitely pros and cons to that. This is actually a Generation 1 Loft Tech jacket I've got here before me, but I wanted to show you this because on the outside of this, it has a 20 denier ripstop nylon fabric, while on the inside it has a 10 denier. We did that very consciously because we feel like 20 denier gives you good durability on the outside. And I know we can get lighter, you can get 15, 10, and even 7 denier stuff, but you gotta be very conscious of how you're gonna use that piece. If it was me and I was using something that's a 7 denier or 10 denier, I'm not gonna wanna like hike or move a lot in that because you're just running a risk every time you use it to potentially snag it or break it. The other thing with durability too could be some of the stitching, making sure your stitching is quality. But that's also one of the failure points I see as in the warranty department per se here is that stitches can snag. So take that into consideration per se as you look at this. But the biggest thing I would say is make sure you're choosing the right fabric. Now, again, I've seen fabrics say 30, 40 denier, and with down and high loft insulations, those can actually be compressing the down because the fabric is too heavy. You get into a 20 denier, not so much, or not really any, I guess I should say. But then again, you get it below 20 into the 15s, 10s, and 7 denier fabrics. There, I feel like you're running a risk, and that's the testing and stuff I've seen. So be conscious of how you're gonna use your jacket, how much durability you need in it. My vote though, personally, is 20 is about the middle ground, gives you great durability and retains light and does not compress any insulation, but take that into consideration as you look at your next Puffy. Now my third tip may be the most technical and important tip that I am going to offer today, something that is kind of reading between the lines for a lot of people that are shopping Puffies, but it's critical. However, before I show you that third tip, I did want to show you something you guys have been asking for, which is our new jacket line. Yes, that would include the Nova Pro and the Nova UL, new jackets. And anyway, so I'm going to actually condense that and show you another video that we created right here. I'm just gonna roll it so you guys can watch it and learn about that piece because it may solve some of the questions for you as you go to look at a Puffy. It's definitely going to take all the 3 things that I'm considering in a Puffy and apply them into a jacket, but more importantly, you guys have been asking for it, so I wanted to show you this. And then we'll jump into the third tip, which may be the most important tip yet.
You can't snag stitching that isn't there. This is the new Nova jacket line, with better water and wind resistance and incredible stitch-free durability. Once you understand that this lightweight jacket has superior warmth abilities, but you don't have to worry about moisture or durability issues, you'll never want another jacket. 3 years ago, we shook up the industry by releasing the Loft Tech Adventure Jacket, which raised over $1 million in pre-orders alone, by offering a unique solution to an age-old concern of down not handling moisture well, and synthetic being more bulky, heavy, and not as warm as down. Since then, we've continued to push the boundaries of what could be done and are finally ready to show you the next generation of performance in every way. Introducing the Nova Pro and Nova UL jackets. These jackets give you increased durability and warmth, extreme packability, and moisture performance, all while shaving off weight. This is powered by two major innovations: our new Down LT insulation and our custom Nova Zero Stitch fabric. Let's start with Down LT insulation. We wanted to push the boundaries farther for warmth and compressibility while retaining the ability to not fail when saturated with water. We started experimenting and dialed in a perfect blend of high fill power down and trace amounts of Loft-Tech synthetic to produce an 800 plus fill power insulation that doesn't fail with moisture even when completely saturated. This means you never have to worry about what might happen if it gets wet from sweat, rain, or life in general. We then looked at what we could do next. We worked with world-leading fabric manufacturers to develop a brand new material that weaves our baffles into the fabric straight from yarn. This cutting-edge production process means there are over 10,000 fewer needle holes in our jacket, retaining the fabric's strength. Its durability improves because you can't snag a stitch that isn't there. Without these extra 10,000 holes, you can also increase its resistance to both wind and rain significantly. These innovations bring you a warmer jacket that is more durable and more resistant to the elements at a level you'll have to wear to understand. You'll have the protection, warmth, and versatility you need no matter what your adventure is. Both jackets come equipped with pit zips for venting and breathability, two insulated hand pockets that you can pack the jackets into or zip closed to seal in valuables, an insulated two-way adjustable hood that turns with your head without blocking visibility, a high neck collar, an adjustable hem to seal in heat, thumb holes for layering and warmth, elastic cuffs that keep heat from escaping, 20D nylon fabric with DWR coating, an amazing fit that looks good anywhere. All these features are in both the Nova UL and the Nova Pro. The major difference between the two is where you'll want to use them. The Nova UL is the most ultralight option in the Nova jacket line. It's in the typical sweater weight warmth category and gives you 3-season warmth, along with the durability and weather-resistant benefits we mentioned earlier. This jacket is perfect for use as a mid-layer or during adventures where you're being active and need just the right amount of warmth in cooler temperatures. The Nova Pro is the warmest jacket on the Nova line. Its unique I-tube baffles contain 50% more down LT insulation, making it more of a coat level of warmth. Take this ultralight puffy jacket into more frigid climates while enjoying the benefits of venting, water and wind resistance, and durability. The Nova jackets are more than just down puffies. They're the next generation of down jackets that take performance to the next level. Never worry about staying warm again. The Nova jackets will keep you warm and worry-free without weighing you down. Take the holes out of your jacket. Grab the Nova UL or Nova Pro jacket and start enjoying your adventures on your own terms now.
All right, so you guys now know the differences and what the heck the Nova jacket line is all about. It's pretty exciting stuff. We're stoked about it, but I did promise you a third tip. So let's talk about that for a second before we end this video and you go check out the Nova jacket. So number 3, the third tip, is going to be how to know the warmth of a jacket. Now, I'm not talking about a temperature rating because there's no such thing as a temperature rating. We get emailed all the time asking about temperature ratings. There's no such thing as a temperature rating for a jacket. Now, there's different types of jackets. There's some that are like a sweater weight or a jacket level or a coat level. So that's an easy place to start. But a bigger and better place to start is comparing two jackets that you might be interested in. So there's 2 ways that you can know how warm a jacket is when you're comparing. One is, what is the fill power of the insulation? So that's the loft, right? So this is a 625 fill power. This is an 800 fill power. They're gonna have different loft levels. But the other part of this is the amount of that insulation, meaning like the weight of the insulation that they're putting in this piece. There's a video that we can link up here that talks about fill power versus the amount of insulation, but just know those are 2 separate things. What is the fill power? So how warm is it for the weight? And then also how much of that insulation are they actually putting in the jacket? So if you were to compare 2 jackets that have the exact same insulation, say this was an 800 fill power jacket, this was an 800 fill power jacket, it's really easy. You just look up the weight of the insulation they're putting in, which in this example might be 100 grams of insulation and 150 grams of insulation. Clearly, this one is the warmer piece. What do you do though if the piece that you're comparing is not the same fill power? You've got to convert one of them to the other fill power level, and then you have the weight to compare directly. So for instance, if we were to use these 2 examples right here, this is a 625 fill power jacket. We're gonna say there's 150 grams of insulation in it by weight. This one is an 800 fill power jacket. We're gonna say there's 150 grams of insulation in it by weight. So we're gonna convert this one to 800 fill power so you can see the difference in the weight or the amount of insulation that's going into the two jackets. So if we take this one at 625 and we multiply it by the weight of the insulation, so 625 times 150, you're gonna get like 93,000. And then you divide that number by the fill power you're comparing to, which would be the 800 number. So 93,000 divide the 800, and what you end up with is 117 grams. So if, hypothetically, if this one was an 800 fill power jacket, it would be as warm as something that had 117 grams of insulation in it. So that's about 32 grams difference of insulation weight difference between these two pieces, which means this one's gonna be warmer, has over an ounce more of insulation inside the jacket. Really figuring out the insulation weight and being able to compare them side by side is gonna be a massive factor in figuring out the warmth of two jackets that you're comparing. All right, so that wraps up our 3 most important things for you to know before you buy your next Puffy. And again, just to recap, that is know your types of insulation, what you're looking for. 2, know the durability and the fabrics. And 3, know how to know the warmth of the jacket and compare those things. Those 3 things are going to save you a ton and make sure you get the right jacket for your next trips. Also though, we teased out the new Nova jackets, the Pro and the UL. These are phenomenal pieces, and all those things that we just talked about really went into consideration when we were designing these pieces. So if you're interested in either of these jackets or just want more details, you can click a link down below and go check them out. If you're watching this live or when this first released, these are on pre-sale right now, which means you can save some money and get them shipped to you first. They're gonna ship about a month from now when this video goes live, and the UL will ship about 2 weeks ahead of the Pro. So just know that if you're not subscribed to this channel and you don't have the bell notification click, make sure that you do so that you can get in on the savings when we launch products on this channel. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope that you found value in this. I hope that it really helps you find the right Puffy for your use case scenario. With that, we'll go ahead and jump off here. We'll see you on the trail, and we'll see you on the next video.